How are you guys doing today? Today, I want to talk about how to deal with bad credit. If you're an individual with bad credit or you know someone with bad credit, this is the video for you. So stay tuned. My name is Jay, and welcome to Ask a Debt Collector, a subsidiary of Clear and Strategic. Now, I've been in the debt collection industry for over 15 years. I've done it all, from management to owning 2 debt collection companies. Over the last 10 years, I've been the go-to guy for friends and family for questions regarding debt and credit. Now I want to be that person for you. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. Let's go. I want to start this video off by saying this. All credit can be restored. I don't care how much debt you owe, how many accounts that you have, if you have judgments, if you're being garnished, anything along those lines, understand your credit, yes, your credit can be restored. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to hit the like button and share this with your friends and family. But by hitting that like button, this video will be recommended to more and more people so that way they can understand what to do and how to deal with bad credit. In dealing with bad credit, one of the first things that you're going to have to address is your relationship with credit. The reason why I say that is your mind state, right? Exactly what is your relationship with credit in general? For myself, when I first started out, I was taught that credit was bad, right? Initially. The only person I had was my grandmother who taught me about credit. She got into some debt as far as credit cards go on a large scale. And she basically said, stay away from credit cards. That's all I knew about credit cards when it came to her. Now, later in life, when I could finally get a credit card for myself, how I viewed credit cards was this. I wanted a brand new pair of shoes. I wanted a TV. I wanted some type of gadget that I didn't have the money in the bank to afford to pay for it. So what do? You charge the credit card and then you pay the low monthly fee towards the credit card. And as long as you're making that monthly fee, you'll be okay. And that was my relationship with credit. My question to you is, what is your relationship with credit? What is your thought process about credit? For a lot of you guys, you're probably in a lot of debt now and you're blaming the credit for the issue. And ultimately, it's not the credit, right? We have good debt and we have bad debt. Ultimately, it's your relationship with the credit in general. So you're going to have to change your relationship with credit. Now that you've understand your relationship with credit and now it's time to change it in a positive way with regards to that, one of the first things that I always recommend every single person come across me, if you've been following my channel, you know I say this all of the time, and that is your budget, right? Your budget is very, very important when understanding what's going on with your credit, because a lot of times understanding the numbers within your budget will tell a story. That story is you're not making enough money, or you're spending too much money, or a bunch of other things. So understanding your budget is very key. One of the things that I recommend everybody do is you get your bank statements for the last 2 months. You write down every single bill from all the way down to a stick of bubble gum, right? Every single bill. Then you make 2 lists. You make a luxury list, you make a necessity list. Necessities are stuff that you're going to have to pay, like your rent and so forth. Luxuries are stuff that you may be paying for that, given the fact that you have bad credit, you don't necessarily need. You know, you may have, let's say, you may be spending a lot of money eating out, right? And given the circumstances of what it is that's going on, if you do have bad credit within that budgeting time span, you're going to want to try and eliminate the luxuries and keep the necessities, because with those luxuries, you're going to use that money to take care of your debt. Once you have your budget intact, you have your mind state set up with your relationship as far as credit goes, the next thing you're going to want to do is pull a copy of your credit report. Now, for those of you who can't afford it, because a lot of times I get people say, I can't afford it, I don't know what's on my credit report, I can't afford it, I don't know how to pull it, whatever the circumstance is. What you can do is you can go through Credit Karma, right? Credit Karma will give you a free Experian as well as a TransUnion credit report. for free. All you got to do is sign up for it, right? Obviously, you got to give your information with regards to that, but that's a way you can get those two. And then Experian.com, they'll give you Experian absolutely for free. So there you have all three credit reports, and it's important that you have all three credit reports with regards to pulling a copy of your credit. The key thing to understand is sometimes there may be stuff that's on one of the credit bureaus that's not on the other credit bureaus. That's why it's important. You got to have a copy of Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Another way that you can get it is with my link down below through Smart Credit. I love Smart Credit. I would partner with them as far as my business go. Every single client that I get on, they do go through Smart Credit. Down below, you can get a 7-day trial for it for just $1. But ultimately, I recommend that you keep it over the long haul. But you got to pull a copy of your credit report. Now, if you don't get it through one of those three options, or the 2 or 3 options that I gave you, you can always go through another website where you get free credit monitoring, but you have to be able to pull a copy of your credit report. Now that you have a copy of your credit report, you're gonna want to identify the things that are on your credit report that's actually hurting your credit report. You want to look for things like late payments. As you guys know, one late payment has the ability of dropping your score 50 to 100 points. So if you have late payments on your credit report, you want to identify those late payments. The next thing you want to look for is collection accounts, right? Collection accounts is typically on your credit monitoring service. You're going to want to look. There would be a section called collections. Any of the accounts that are under that section are actually hurting your credit report. So you're going to want to identify those accounts. Then another thing you want to look for are charge-offs on your credit report. Now, charge-off and collection accounts typically fall under the same guise, obviously, with regards to hurting you. But there are chances where you can have an account with Capital One that was charged off and it wasn't necessarily sent to collections at the time. But charge-off accounts on your credit profile, you want to identify those. Another thing you're going to want to look for is public records, judgments, right, that you may have against you with regards to everything that's happening on your account, right? So if you have a judgment, let's say you owed Capital One for whatever reason, it was charged off and sent to collections, you weren't able to pay them, and in order to collect the funds, they're going to go and try and take you to court with regards to a lawsuit. Now, there's a subsection with public records on there. If you do have judgments, you're going to want to be able to identify those accounts as well. And then the last thing that I always state that people want to look at is your credit utilization. I can't tell you how many people I come across who are in the low 6s, sometimes mid 6s, and they don't know why they're not in the 700 club. A lot of times it deals with your credit utilization. What I mean by that is, let's say you have a bunch of credit cards and they total $10,000 total. Typically, your credit utilization factors in on how much of that $10,000 that you currently have charged up. So if you had $5,000 of that $10,000 charged up, that's going to be a 50% utilization. And with the 50% utilization, that is actually hurting your credit. I come across clients all the time who sign up for a free 20-minute consultation with me. If you're interested in that, the link is down below. And I'll look at their credit profile. And once I realize the credit profile, all I'll say is, hey, your credit utilization is up high. Pay down your credit cards. If you pay your credit cards down to 30% utilization, which is the standard, but my stance is to get it to a 0 utilization. Pay it all the way down to 0 on the statement due date. Then it will reflect that you don't owe any money. And your credit utilization on your FICO score represents 30% of that score. So by just paying down your credit utilization, you can see your score go up 50 to 100 points. I've done it with countless people who didn't actually need credit repair. They thought they did. And once I told them all you had to do was pay down your credit utilization, that worked out. That ties all the way back into the budgeting that I told you before, right? If you understand your budget, then you can look at obviously paying down your credit cards, your utilization, if they are high balances. But you have to identify these bad things on your credit profile. Now that you've identified these derogatory accounts on your credit profile, the things that are actually hurting your credit profile, now is the time to actually take care of them. Now you have a few options with regards to doing so. You can dispute the accounts on your own. If you're not a professional, just understand, I don't recommend disputing any accounts online, right? Don't do it online. Actually send the letters with regards to that. Another thing to do is hire a professional. Down below is a 20-minute consultation. Feel free to do so with regards to that. Or you can hire another person with regards to that. But you got to find an expert that is well versed in getting rid of derogatory accounts. Another thing is you may have to actually pay those accounts off. Now, understand something. You don't have to pay the balance in full. If I do have a digital product, you want to become a debt negotiator pro. I have 15 years of experience in the debt collection industry. Down below, opt in for the debt negotiator pro. And that is a 5-video step-by-step course to show you how to actually locate your accounts, making sure you're paying the correct companies, and then settling out the accounts and negotiating a pay to delete. Now that we're on the subject of the pay to delete, down below is a free letter bundle for you as well. This is to help everybody on their credit journey. This is absolutely for free. I just want to help you out in this aspect. You get 4 letters with regards to the free letter bundle. You get a pay to delete letter, you get a cease and desist letter, a goodwill letter, as well as a debt validation letter. That'll all help you out on your journey. Be sure to check that out down below. The last thing that you're going to want to do, right? Now you've gotten rid of your late payments. Now you've gotten rid of those derogatory accounts and so forth, is the building of the credit. I've come across, matter of fact, not too long ago, a client who wasn't understanding, right? So we look at his credit. His credit score is still in the low 6s. I think it was in high 5s or whatnot. He didn't have any derogatory accounts. His accounts were taken care of. He didn't have any late payments, anything along those lines. If you want to get into the 700 club, what's going to happen is you're going to have to actually start building credit. And one of the ways to start building credit, a fast way, is by adding an authorized user account where you're piggybacking off of someone else's credit. You just got to make sure that they don't have any late payments, or you would inherit that on your credit profile, and they don't have a high credit utilization. And typically you want them to have the credit line for at least 2 years or more. The older the credit line, the better. If you need access to that, you can email me. If you want an authorized user account, I do have a few on sale. And if you don't know anyone or you don't have the money to pay, another way you can do it is through secure credit cards to start building your credit. With a secure credit card, basically all that means is you get a credit card through whether it's your financial institution or one of the big companies that actually give credit cards out. You basically have to give them a certain amount of money, $300 to $1,000. They'll hold it as a deposit. Just in case you do fail or you don't pay, and basically you'll get that credit limit. As long as you're making those payments 6 months to a year, sometimes it may even go up to 2 years. As long as you're making the payments on time, you don't have any late payments or anything along those lines, make sure you check with the credit card company you go with. Typically after that time spent, they'll take it from a secure credit card and put it in an unsecured. And a lot of the banks and so forth will actually give you that deposit back that you used initially in order to get the actual secure credit card. But that's a way you can start building credit out and start getting those trade lines on your credit profile. And you want to have a good credit mix. You want to have revolving accounts, you want to have installment accounts on there, and then over a course of time of making those payments, doing the due diligence with regards to making sure you're not late on any payments, you're making on-time payments and so forth, you will see within 2 to 6 years, you'll see yourself get into that 700 club. And as long as you maintain that, you'll continue to keep growing from there. Now, if you have any questions about credit or debt, put them down in the comment section. I promise I'll answer those questions. And as I always state, you be great.